Hey, welcome. This is James Maduke speaking. You're watching a video tutorial. Well, that's not a tutorial. I'm just going to rant today. I got to share something with you. I'm really struggling with video tutorials and actually creating video lessons or content for all of the online courses that we do. And I'll tell you what the issue is. The question is, should I be spending as much time with editing videos? Is it really worth it? How much editing needs to be done? And is it actually helping or hindering how people actually learn stuff? I think it's an important question, and one that's going to come up more and more often, especially where people start finding out how easy it is to do a live webcast like we're doing right now, or even get in front of their smartphone and talk in front of the camera. And the question becomes, is it really, really worth making all of these edits and taking the time, energy, effort, and sometimes cost in creating a well-edited video? And notice this, I said the word well. There's lots and lots and lots of video tutorials on how to do video edits on YouTube. You can take complete huge courses on it. And I'm not knocking editing videos. I think it's great, and some of them are really cool, but I'm thinking about it if I'm going to be teaching something online, if I'm building a training site, if I'm putting together a video tutorial, or I'm teaching someone how to do know something that they don't know or do something that they can't do now. Like, what's the best way to do that? And is it me in front of the camera, or me producing content, whether it be audio, visual, slides, text, all of this stuff? Is it really worth the time to make those final edits to transfer the knowledge? So I was thinking about, what is it that is the best approach here? And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be trying over the next little while. The thing that's in the back of my mind and why this is actually coming up is when, I don't know, as a creator or a course creator or teaching online, I have a crap load of ideas that I have on a regular basis. Every day, there's usually every hour that I come up with some idea that I go, man, I really should put that together. And in fact, I have a list, I think, of 250 video tutorial ideas that I put down in our project management, our teamwork app, where we keep track of all of this and we manage all our projects for building training sites for customers. So I've got these list of ideas, but it seems that I have trouble getting around to them after the fact because I'm expecting or assuming that they've got to be edited. And people talk about doing content creation or creating content in batches, and I'm wondering, is that really the best thing to do? And I think part of the reason for content creation in batches is that the assumption was that it had to be edited. You had to have fancy edits. You had to have a tip and a tail. You had to have cuts back and forth. You had to have a bottom third with text on the screen. You had to have bullet points show up. You had to have a subscribe now screen, all sorts of stuff that was kind of implied if you're creating these tutorials. And I wasn't getting around to it. So what I'm going to be doing over the next while is I'm actually going to do live sessions. Woo! Holy mackerel! That was thunder and lightning. Sorry for that. Just startled me. That was a really, really close one. That was loud and fast. So so I'm going to be doing these sessions live on a regular basis, and I'm actually going to do a live broadcast of them. And there's a couple reasons I'm going to do that. One is because we use Ecamm Live software, and that allows me to create semi-produced video tutorials on a regular basis. And what I mean by semi-produced, you'll see in a couple sessions, we're allowed to have scenes, and scenes can switch between a headshot like this, or for example, we can go to a browser to see what's on a browser. We can do the browser with a picture of the headshot in it. We can do whiteboard sessions, and we can switch back and forth with those quite quickly. Now, it isn't edited after the fact. It's kind of like a live edit, right? So I'm going to be doing those live. And the reason I'm going to be doing them live is exactly this. I want to see if I can get good enough creating or doing live editing instead of having to go and do the post editing or after the fact when it's recorded. So I'm going to do these every time I get an idea. I'm not writing it down on the list. I'm actually going to get in front of the camera. It takes 2 seconds. to set up a title and a little blurb on what I'm going to copy or cover in the video. And I'm going to go in front of Ecamm Live. I'm going to turn on, we're going to do a live feed. I'm going to broadcast it. Now, the other thing that's going to happen is Ecamm Live allows me to record the session as well. That's going to be done with a live edit as opposed to a post edit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the live feed. I'm going to take the recording and I'm going to use the recording to post portions of it as a video on YouTube and or a short on YouTube, as well as use some of the content that we put there just by cutting it up and putting it in using as lessons or tutorials in some of the courses that you can find on teachonline.io. So I put down a couple notes just to kind of touch on them while we're doing this as to some of the things that you should maybe think about when you're doing these live edits, when we're playing around with it. And I think, the thing that as a teacher or someone who's teaching something, the thing that a lot of people struggle about is the perceived value less because it's not fancy edit. There's no post editing. Is it less perceived value? And that really depends on who you're teaching, I think. If you're teaching a corporate customer in something that's very, very structured and very complex, it might require more edits. On the other hand, if it's something that is a little more or less complex or less specific, you might find that being able to do these live edits is more than enough. Now, so that's, authenticity is the big part of it. Do you want it to come across as you, as the instructor, the teacher, or is it more important the content as the teacher? I think it's a big question you have to answer specifically for yourself and who you're trying to teach. The thing that's really important to me, of course, is it saves time. If you're able to do your own video edits, that's one thing, doing it post capture. If you know how to use the pieces of software to do these edits, if you've got Camtasia, Final Cut Pro, or any of these other tools or apps that do really great edits and you're good with that, that's fine. But it still takes time. It even takes more time if you have to send it out to a videographer or someone to do your edits. It's not something that can be done ad hoc or quickly as that idea comes to you. So there is a lot of time savings available in the live edits versus the post edits. The other thing that happens is informal videos like this have a lot more flexibility than a structured video where you, in many cases, are capturing pieces or portions that are chunks that are going to get used in the video. So if something kind of comes up or a train of thought changes, you have a lot more flexibility in terms of what am I going to say? How's this going to work? What are the important parts? Or is there a different example that I can use that I maybe thought of at the start? Or, if you're doing some kind of live broadcast, maybe there's a question that comes in the chat that you weren't aware of. So very, very, very flexible in terms of doing the live edits. The other thing that's interesting too is when you think about it, we focus a lot at trainingsites.io about community and building these communities, these online learning campuses, those online training campuses, those online teaching campuses. And a campus is about interaction, right? It's being in a position where you can do cohort trainings or where you can have a live portion online as well as the static content, which is the video, the text, the audio that you're creating when you're building out these videos. If you're doing a live broadcast, you actually have the opportunity to do live participation with people in the chat that are actually in the live stream that are being captured. So very, very, very effective way to take advantage of the live capturing and doing live feeds and doing live edits. And here's the big one, I think, for business people, and it doesn't matter if you're a small business or a big business, is video editing can be very expensive. I'm not knocking videographers. They're absolutely hard to do, and people are very skilled at it and can produce some really wild editing and video editing that makes your content far more effective. The question becomes, what is the cost and is it really necessary? So this is what I want to leave you with. Think about next time you're creating content, next time you're teaching online, is this something that I can do live and do live edits and capture and reuse for marketing purposes and or for the training classes, courses, tutorials, and lessons that I'm building? Or Do I really need to have it professionally edited? And I say professionally in the terms of post-capture editing. Do I really need to do that and spend the time, energy, and money creating it? What is the value? Which one works better? So let's see what happens. I'm going to start producing a lot of these. You may see 3, 4, 5 a day. You may see none a day if I don't have any great ideas that come up, but I'm going to try and do them, reuse them in different places, and we'll see how that works over the next little while. So I want to thank you very much for joining me. It's James Maduch speaking. Make sure to go to teachonline.io and join the community for free. And if you want your own campus where you can teach people online, go to trainingsites.io, where we help people start, build, and grow their online community. Take care. Expect the best.